So, I wanted to start off with a specific moment. We've all had that feeling where you see someone you know in a grocery store and the name is right on the tip of your tongue and your brain just stalls. It's awkward, right? But for a family dealing with Alzheimer's, that's not an awkward moment. It's a heartbreaking one. It's the moment a grandfather looks at his own son and the recognition just isn't there. That's the specific gap we wanted to bridge with Revere. We didn't want to build just another piece of medical tech. We wanted to build something that feels like a supportive ear with a whisper in your ear.
Hi everyone, I'm Tejas, and I worked extensively on the front end side and the software side of Revere. The goal we had in mind while developing the website was everyone takes care after the patient, and that's really great. But what about the caretakers? They usually tend to get ignored. We wanted to develop an immersive experience for them so that when they open the website and even the dashboard, they feel at home. They don't feel like they're just logging into another gray medical logbook. And that's unsurprisingly the unfortunate fact about society. Whatever patient care exists in the public is usually very depressing. And we wanted to move away from that idea. So let me take you on a tour of Revere. You can see that we went with a minimal approach for the front end side of the website. We did not want to throw all information at the caretaker at once or the patient even. So the first thing you see on the website is the demo video. Then you see a beautiful animation made using Higgsfield AI and VO 3.0 model. And the scroll scrubbing is done using GSAP. As we move down, we see the 3D model. This was made using Blender and Meshy AI plugin. It's a huge time saver, and it's a really great tool out there. The animation again was made using GSAP and 3JS. The scroll scrubbing part was really easy after having done that. Before, it was very hard. Moving on, we move on to the feature list. The first and the most important feature is facial recognition. The primary caretaker gets to add familiar faces to the dashboard, and from there the model gets trained on the hardware side and it syncs using our database Firebase. And when the camera detects the person in the future, it both gives the patient an audio cue and also puts a log in the dashboard. The next feature was object detection. We wanted to use Gemini 2.5 Flash alone for this, but we decided maybe we can add more because, like medicines, all right, not all medicines are easily recognizable through just AI. The user has to give some context. So we added the object addition feature in the dashboard as well. And the last, and I think the most not talked about feature, is location awareness. And we use Gemini 2.5 Flash model again here, given the hardware constraints for Hackathon, to know if the user is in a safe environment. For the project alone, we thought GPS would be a bit heavy, but we agree that GPS as an addition would make this even more feasible. Moving on. Also, we added accessibility features. So dark mode, light mode, toggles work, and even dictation.
Configure once. Run quietly. A simple web dash.
I know the voice here is very robotic, but 11 Labs can solve this problem if only we had more time for the hackathon. Anyways, another great animation using GSAP. And now let me take you to the dashboard. So this right here is our dashboard. As you can see, we went with a similar approach as our landing page. However, this is more minimalist and simplistic. We use Next.js and React here as they're really clean and intuitive. And let me show you the features. The first one being face gallery. You can add a name and the relationship with the patient. Then the model gets trained on that face, and when the camera sees it next, it gets logged into the activity log, and the patient gets an audio cue as to who that person is. Let me take you to the activity log. It records every activity across the board, be it you adding face, you adding something to the schedule, or the patient recognizing someone or stepping out of the safe zone, or maybe recognizing an object. And the final feature is chatbot. It gives the patient and the caretaker an accessibility feature. Let's say they do not want to look at their phone, they can just tap on the mic once and then they can talk to the agent. Here.
Hello, how can I help you today?
Hi, what was the last activity completed?
The last activity completed was marking Take Sleeping Meds as complete today at 3 o'clock 4 a.m.
Was TG recognized today?
Yes, TG, the patient's son, was recognized today at 3 o'clock 4 a.m.
Did the patient take all his meds today?
The patient has completed 3 medication reminders today. These are Take Medicine at 11:50 a.m., Take Diabetes Med at 2:55 p.m., and Take Sleeping Meds at 11 o'clock 5 p.m.
Thank you.
Hi guys, I'm Utshal and I focused on the hardware integration, embedded debugging and camera pipeline for Revere. My main work was getting the audio camera running reliably on the Raspberry Pi 02W, which involved debugging camera initialization, CSI and I2C communication, driver compatibility, frame stability and runtime constraints.
The core of Revere is relationship prompting. Using a camera in the frames, the glasses identify a face. Maybe it's your daughter. And you get a private audio cue. That's Sarah. Suddenly, the anxiety is gone. You're not guessing. You're just having a conversation. But we knew that memory loss isn't just about who you're with. It's about where you are.
So, given the hackathon timeline that we had and the limits of Raspberry Pi 02W we faced, we approached a familiar environment as a lightweight visual context recognition problem. So, instead of relying solely on GPS, we used a caregiver defined familiar spaces, environmental cues like rooms and recurring objects, and the Gemini to a 2.5 Flash API. We help determine whether the wearer still appeared to be in a known context or not, and if it's not in a known context, it would capture that particular image that where he is, and would send that particular image using Twilio through to that caregiver person, whether it could be your son or your daughter. So yeah, after stabilizing the camera stack, our next challenge was syncing the captured frames and status updates to the caregiver dashboard. We moved from MongoDB to Firebase for real-time synchronization, cloud-hosted listeners, and simpler event-driven updates. By the end, we achieved an end-to-end camera dashboard latency of under 3.5 seconds. To be exact, it was 3.49 seconds, and we are proud of what we have built. So,
Now that you've seen the prototype, you know how feasible the idea actually is. But our bigger vision regarding this project itself is not making an entire frame. Because imagine us asking patients and their caregivers to spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars and buy entirely new frames. We want to make a more compact version of this using better chips and more advanced hardware. And that can just serve as an add-on and an attachable equipment to any frame. And that removes the biggest entry and adoption barrier. That's how we want to place Revere as a product.